The recent Nigerian Bar Association conference in Enugu State, Nigeria has come and gone, with the theme titled Stand Out and Stand Tall, which left participants with deep reflections and renewed perspectives. Keynote speaker for the day, Julius Malema, who set the tone with a stirring address, urged Africa to unite and chart a common course for the future.
Join me as I welcome this two sons of Africa, this Pan-Africanist, and a man for all Julius Malema. Of justice. While we wage our battle for freedom in the picket lines, through activism, protest, and participation in governance, it is you, the members of the legal profession, who interpret the laws we make, who practice the justice we seek to achieve, and who fight tirelessly for those who cannot defend themselves in the courts of law.
And to source foreign loans and establish transparency regarding such loans and their conditionalities. The debt trap of Africa to our foreign colonizers must be stopped, and that begins by regulating these loans that our leaders commit future generations to, because they will not be there when the colonizers come to collect. The policy of outsourcing is at the center of corruption, as politicians establish companies to provide services such as cleaning, security services, accounting services, maintenance services, and many more to government at a ridiculous rate. How can you issue a tender to buy toilet paper? How come Director General doesn't know where the toilet papers are being sold and go and buy the toilet papers himself instead of issuing out a tender that is unnecessary? There are certain things that can be done by the government without involving the outside players. We don't want alcohol advertised in South Africa because they advertise alcohol through the means that is not a true reflection of alcohol. Why are you not advertising alcohol with drunkards and show people what alcohol will do to them?
His call for solidarity and shared peoples resonated throughout the conference.
There are guns where Africans are killing each other. Africans must always be together against the enemy forces who want to exploit our country. We are here today to reclaim our land. We want the land of Africa to be returned to Africa because it belongs to the Africans. We want the minerals of Africa to be returned to the Africans because that's where they belong. We want to build industries in Africa and process our minerals here in Africa. We've got the capacity. We must never allow the imperialist forces to divide us in order to take our minerals from us. We demand one Africa. We demand borderless Africa. We demand Africa with one president, with one currency, with one military command, with one parliament, because we know the currency of Africa will be much more stronger against the American currency. We don't care what Trump thinks of us. He will never choose a policy position for Africans. We are not subject of Trump. We must refuse to be subjects of Trump. We must stand together as the world changes and show the world that Africa is one and Africa is equal to all nations, to China, to Russia, to America. We are not just a small nation. We are a big nation. We are not a dark continent. How can we be dark when we've got diamond that is shining amongst us? We are a shining nation. I thank you.
The host governor, Barrister Peter Mba, warmly welcomed everyone to Enugu State and officially declared the conference open.
It is with great honor and genuine delight that I welcome you all to Enugu, the historical capital of Eastern Nigeria, and now for this week, the proud capital of the Nigerian Bar Association. And I think a lot of the previous speakers have already alluded to the rich history of this state and how hospitable we are. And so please, when you hear no, 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 don't mistake it as if we're saying no, no. We're saying no with emphasis. And that's because hospitality is in our DNA. Our gratitude to the NBA president and his executive committee for this honor. We're deeply proud to receive you all here in our midst. Though I must confess, as a governor, the thought of so many lawyers gathering in one place does make me a little more careful with my words. Your presence here is both a privilege and a reminder of the important role Enugu continues to play in our national life. Normally, when lawyers gather, people brace themselves for debate. But here in Enugu, I'd rather we brace ourselves for friendship, laughter, and maybe 1 or 2 nights of storytelling. Once again, I welcome you all to Enugu, and may this conference be your most memorable. I would also want to use this opportunity to say that it is my immense joy and pride to declare formally open the 2025 Annual General Conference of the Nigerian Bar Association. Thank you. Thank you. May your discussion be fruitful. Tomorrow is here. May God bless NBA, God bless Enugu State, and God bless the Federal Republic of Nigeria. Thank you.
Also in attendance was the 20th Sultan of Sokoto, Alhaji Muhammadu Sa'ad Abubakar III, CFR, the Minister of Interior, Olubunmi Tunji Ojo, as well as representatives of the Nigerian Army, the DSS, and the Nigerian Police Force, who were not at any point spared. The opening evening came alive with electrifying performances from the renowned The Eagles Band, which brought a vibrant cultural touch to the gathering. At the panel session, as topical and thought-provoking questions were raised.
Here to listen to me. And maybe you won't invite me again after I'm done. You represent the heartbeat of professionalism in our country, in any society. I think it's important that we don't laugh through the conditions that we find ourselves as a people. You're the best of minds. Anyone who is able to train and become a lawyer in Nigeria represents the elite of our society. What's going on is an abandonment of responsibility by the elite of our country. The truth is, the people of this country, the larger population of the poor, are almost trapped in intractable poverty. Some 133 million are perniciously in that state of poverty. One thing that is fundamental are the choices that we make as a people. And guess what? The lawyers determining the rule of law of this society and what is rewarded, what is punished, at the heart of it. The question that I hope your conference this year would force each of you to ask is, should there be an evaluation of what our profession has done to provide the necessary guardrails for the behavior of our political class? Would we be found to have done right by Nigerians? If the answer is no, then I hope that this particular year's conference will be an opportunity to say, enough.
The indices we are seeing, right, is part of the question you asked earlier on, are our lives better now than before, right? If we look at it at the face value, we will say no. If we look at it from economic indices, we will say yes. If we look at the growth rate, if we look at the inflation rate and all of that. However, the question is, all these policies, what is happening? And I like scenarios. Subsidy is gone. Threw something to the atmosphere that caused the shaking that we had. However, what then happened was that shock that the masses got by that statement was lopsided. It didn't affect the other side of the divide. I would have loved to hear something like, subsidy is gone. All government parastatals, all ministers coming into power, no new car, no new furniture, no new. Do you get?
In the engine of growth. But when you have an economy that does not recognize the importance of making it seamless for us to move from one destination to the other, like Auntie Obi said, when there's a problem, we just find a way of scaling it. If there is pothole, you buy a Jeep. If there is insecurity, you get Mopo. You get that? We miss the point. So many of us are guilty of not planning or not making hay when the sun shone very brightly on us in Nigeria. And today, we are paying the price. So the discussion would be, all right, haven't learned some bitter lessons. How do we then get out of it? I always liken ourselves to a car that's going downhill. Before you come back up, you've got to hit rock bottom. I want to believe that at this stage we've hit rock bottom. And we're now going to start the very difficult climb back up, which means, hopefully, we would have learned a lot of lessons from the things we ought to have done and didn't do, and the things we should do. And it cuts across all spheres, even to our...
Somebody is coming in with a visa, he's not talking to the landing card. From the landing card, he's not even talking to the setback in case you want to get your residence permit. He's not talking. So he's not even talking to the ministry. So it goes to a stage that more than 60% of quota people were displaying were fake quota because what's it called? The immigration, they have no way of confirming how genuine a quota is. So they were not talking, and a lot of jobs were going to people that were not documented and were not in the system. But today, I'm happy to tell you that all our solutions, from visa, from the time you apply for your visa, to the time that you call me, which is your landing and arrival card, to your FEPAC, to your business permit, they all share an integrated database. With our lawyers, they ban. Please, I think a lot of our laws, not just in interior, please, I will want you to be able to help us to also look at some of our laws. And because I'll give you an example. Imagine the Fire Service Act of 1963. The Fire Service Act of 1963 is still talking about Fire Service of Lagos, not Federal Fire Service. And the fire service, anybody knows anywhere in the world. Before an investor will come to your country to even grow your economy, the question you must also ask yourself is, what are your risk mitigating elements? If there is fire, if there are rescue issues, there are emergency issues, the response system is bad. But the simple truth is, the law as it is today, there is, even as much as we know the right thing to do, we know what we've done in Nigeria Immigration Service, e-gate, e-visa, e-passport, e-SEP, a lot. We've done more than 20. We've done a lot even in NSCDC, a lot that we have done. The mine marshals, we were having problem with our mining feeds, because to me, Nigeria is more solid mineral, or is more of a solid mineral country than an oil country. But the simple truth is, go there, it was just the basis for crisis, bloodletting, and etc. We came up with along with the Minister of Solid Minerals, and we said we have to introduce the mine marshal. We don't need to create a new arm, but that's what civil defense is meant to do: protect critical national assets.
We recognize and invite you. Yes. So my question, in 1 minute, Deji, 1 minute. Thank you. My contribution is very simple. You know, thank God that all the service chiefs are represented here. The Nigeria Guantanamo Bay is in Niger State. It's called Wawa Barracks. In that barracks, we have some of our clients in that barracks. Thousands of people are in that barracks. They were arrested on the suspicion of belonging to IPOB. People in the Northeast, people are dying in that camp. There's a lot of human rights violations in that Wawa Barracks. There is no way we can be talking about human rights violation in Nigeria without talking about Wawa Barracks, because of the level of the way people are subjected. Yes. We are not talking, let's talk generally on the topic.
Yes.
Not specific.
Please. It is important. It is important that we highlight. You see, personally, I have to commend the DG of SSS because some of our clients were arrested in 2020 and 2021, and they have been in Wawa Barracks. We have been able to get some out. There is a husband and wife that was arrested on the suspicion of belonging to IPOB. They know nothing about IPOB, and they've been in that place for 4 years.
All right, thank you.
There is no way that we cannot talk about the issue.
Please,
and finally,
no, that's enough. Honestly,
we were also not prepared when terrorism struck in Nigeria. So, I'm giving you the background to what gave rise to Wawa. So, terrorists that were arrested in the Northeast were the people that were initially taken to Wawa, because there was no holding facility to hold terrorists. Then when we have Terrorism Prevention Act with subsequent amendments, and more cases of terrorism were manifested in the country, so every suspected case of terrorism was taken to Wawa. To cut a long story short, the Federal High Court, which Leonard Silk Falana mentioned, has designated 8 judges that sit in Wawa. 8. There are 8 courtrooms in Wawa where terrorism cases are handled.
thank you very much.
And Human Rights Commission is an observer with the United Nations and other NGOs.
Thank you very
So
much.
human rights norms are observed. Thank you very much.
The conference drew the presence of top legal practitioners from across Nigeria, making it a truly remarkable From the contributions of seasoned lawyers to the energy of the breakout sessions, the conference in whole proved both intellectually enriching and socially engaging. But the lingering question remains, did the legal profession truly live up to its theme with their wig and gown?
Yeah, definitely they've done that, because they show clearly that they are opposed to the imposition of the military ruler, or in quotes, administrator in Rivers State, and probably because of that decided to come here. So in that regard, they stand tall and stand out and stand tall. They stand on what they believe in, and that's the essence of this conference. You see, unfortunately for me, my worry about this topic is that, the team is that we may be saying things like that, but practicability of it, enforcement of it, we don't implement most of the things we say. We don't even stand by with it, and that's the problem we've been having. Most of us are staying outside what we are supposed to be inside, and that is why we're not getting it right. If we are all participants in this process of governance, of politics, or of this conference insert, we will all get it better. If we cooperate the way we cooperate here and in normal life, probably we'll get it right. But here, you can see, if you listen to the plenary today, this morning, they talk about the human right issue. Falana was there, Sekome was there, the IG of police was represented at the military. They all spoke against them, and openly and to their faces. But what will happen thereafter? That's my worry.
The conference so far has been awesome. It's been overwhelming. Sincerely speaking, I didn't know that the governor of Enugu State or the government of Enugu State can host MBA conference in Enugu State. Over the years, it has always been a bigger place where you have a big space and relatively security-wise. But in Enugu today, there is security, there is the infrastructure that can host the biggest association in West Africa.
Definitely the conference of Nigeria Bar Association 2025 was very successful, and indeed is too tall and also stood out. It's a good conference to be. This is one of the most largest and most populated conference in the history of MBA, and I'm glad that I'm a participant.
The choice of Enugu as the venue of the 2025 Annual General Conference of Nigerian Bar Association is a well thought out decision by the ESCO of the National Executive Council of the Nigerian Bar Association, ably led by Mazi Afam. In fact, that decision singularly has restored pride to Nigerian Bar Association as the champion of rule of law, champion of democracy, and champion of justice in Nigeria. In fact, it is very wrong, totally unconstitutional for the president of Nigeria to unilaterally, without any recourse to discussion from anybody, and impose that state of emergency on Rivers State without any recourse to traditional institution, without discussing with the people, without calling anybody. It was just a decision that caught everybody unaware. In fact, impunity in governance anywhere in the world is an anathema. It's something that is supposed to be condemnable.
We know these sections are good because new things, because we have learned a lot from the AI, artificial intelligence, and the other lectures. And especially the opening ceremony was grand. So we have really benefited from the conference. I think we hope that subsequent conference that there will be more improvements and all.